So like sometimes you don't know what that rut means, right? You don't know if you're in it or if people realize that. It could be depression, it could be anxiety, it can be you're just over it, you're not feeling it, you're not feeling yourself. There's so many things. So I just came up with 3 points to help you get out the rut because I have been in a rut one so many times. All right. I'm gonna just let y'all know it is real. Okay. And it is like I said last week, it's so easy to kind of mask it sometimes, especially when you just have to keep going. If you've got people, family, friends that you have to keep going for, you can't really just, you can't really just lay around. You got to keep it moving. You got to get up. You got to go to work. You got to do your thing. Um, so number one is acknowledging that you're in a rut. Okay, acknowledging that there is something going on. And many times the way that you know that you're in a rut is because something just feels off. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just like, like you know how you wake up, maybe not waking up excited about every day, but when you wake up feeling that heaviness or something's just off or you're just not ready to take that step forward, you know that you're in a place, especially if you're starting to feel like that more than one day. It turns into 2 days, it turns into a week, and it just turns into a season of you just literally being almost numb to the things that used to excite you. Um, you know what I'm saying? So that's the number one thing. You've got to acknowledge it. You've got to admit that you're in that rut. Okay. You have to understand that you're not motivated about the things that you should be motivated about. What are the things that add to your life? What are the things that make you who you are? You kind of stop doing those things. And like I said, you're kind of living in autopilot and you recognize it. Or some of us, we get in denial and we kind of just accept that new way of living. We actually start getting uncomfortable with making the necessary changes to get out of the rut. So we actually get comfortable living how we're living. You know what I'm saying? So that's the number one thing. Like, if you're faking it till if you gotta fake it till you make it, like there is something terribly wrong with that. And I had to admit that to myself. Like, you cannot just keep living on autopilot and not taking some time for yourself to truly acknowledge what's going on. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's in that head of yours? What's going on in your heart? Like, how are you really feeling? It's one thing to get honest with other people, but a lot of times we do not get honest with ourselves. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It takes a lot of energy, which leads me to number two. You have to identify why you're there. When we're in a rut, many times it's not just because of something small or, something that, you can't really put your finger to. If you really take the time to figure it out, you can identify why you're feeling unmotivated, why you're feeling hopeless, why you're feeling stagnant, or why you're just over it. You can definitely identify it, but it definitely takes some energy to do that. And it takes the type of energy like when you go to the gym, like, okay, so I've been trying to do my walks for, I don't know, maybe a year. I used to walk all the time. And I have been saying to myself, I got to get back out there and walk. So I started walking last week. Child, I didn't walk this week because I'm hurting and I know I've got to push through that. But it was beautiful. I was walking 3 miles 3 days a week. So on Monday I walked 3 miles, Wednesday I walked 3 miles, Friday I walked 3 miles. And it was lovely. I felt like I was back. I was on top of the world. But honestly, I've been hurting ever since Friday. So when I woke up yesterday, I didn't even want to look at my husband because I didn't want him and his extra energy talking about you ready to walk. And I'm just like, ugh, but I feel like we both kind of, but the whole point of that is it took so much energy for me to start doing something that I haven't done in a very long time. And then the aftermath of that was that it hurt. And that's the same thing that you have to go through mentally when you take that energy to go through finding out why you're in a rut. It takes energy, it's uncomfortable, and many times when you get the answer to that, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's so much, but it's so worth it because you have so much to offer to the world. All right. You have so much to offer to the people around you, your family, your friends. So the more you get into this comfortable place of being in a rut, you start pulling those gifts and those things that God has placed in you, the light that God has placed in you, you slowly start covering that light up. So even though it's hard, you have to take the energy to face those things. And it is going to feel like going to the gym or taking a walk for the first time in a long time. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel harder than before. And many times you may feel a little hurt after, meaning like facing those things head on. How do you face those things? That's my number 3 point. Encourage yourself. And we talked about that. And just those 2 words alone kind of makes me melt. I'm like, encourage myself, child. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, for me, encouraging myself for me looks a little different, maybe a glass of wine and a nice Netflix binge to just kind of, but if you really want to encourage yourself after you identify why you're in a rut, why you're feeling what you're feeling, and sometimes it may take someone else to help you identify that. And I'm always a big advocate for therapy because sometimes we cannot go as deep as we want to. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to really allow someone else to help us go there because it's, again, just like when you try to do something physically, like go to the gym or what so have you, many times people find someone to do it with them so that, you can hold that person accountable. It's the same thing mentally. It's the same thing emotionally. Like sometimes you need someone to help you figure it out and help you go to certain places. And sometimes that requires therapy. I was in therapy for like a good couple of months and I thought it was the best thing ever. Just helping me uncover certain thought patterns that I had. To be honest, even though I was aware of them, I didn't realize how I was applying them to my everyday life. There's a big difference in being aware of your habits versus really seeing the effect they're having on the choices that you're making. Big difference. Some people feel confident in who they are because they feel that they're aware of other things, but the truth of the matter is they don't realize how much it's affecting them. It's affecting you, it's affecting the people around you, and it's affecting everything God has called you to be. All right? So identifying where you are, it takes some work, and sometimes you need somebody to do that. And that 3rd point, encouraging yourself, it's got to come with a productive activity, okay? Because we talked about what it means to be in a rut. When you're in a rut, many times you're engaging in things that are frequently unproductive. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're harmful, but they're unproductive. Like they're not getting you out the rut, and that's what the Bible always talks about. The Bible always talks about, my glasses keep getting crooked and I'm just getting so tight. The Bible talks about like everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. You know what I'm saying? And that's so real because we can do things that make us feel good temporarily or just even in the season, a consistent habit, but it's an unproductive habit. It is soothing, but it's not getting you anywhere. It's literally like walking on a mental treadmill. Treadmill? Treadmill. Is it treadmill or treadmill? Um, so you know what I'm saying? Like you're literally walking and you're moving, you're doing things that may make you feel good, but you're not really going anywhere. So when you encourage yourself, you really have to consider engaging in new habits that actually bring you to the next step. All right. Like you want to start small, like we talked about last week. Don't get crazy. You want to start fanning your flame, meaning the fire is there. You may not feel it, but it's there. But it takes you to actually start engaging in that productive habit to actually start feeling passionate again. I mean, that was like one of the things that hit me the biggest. When I just started losing passion for certain things, I realized I just wasn't passionate because I wasn't doing it. So when you stop doing the stuff that makes you excited and that you're called to do, you're going to lose passion. And then you like wait for that passion to come. You wait for that candle to reignite itself on its own, when the truth of the matter is you actually have to light your own candle, and then you got to fan it so that it gets bigger and bigger. And in order to do that, that means you have to actually start doing what you know you should be doing, even though you don't feel like doing it. And eventually that passion will show up. That reminds me of my favorite quote. I always quote Joyce Meyer: don't follow your feelings, let your feelings follow you, and eventually they will catch up. I love that quote, especially as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because like feelings and emotions, they can just get everywhere and you can start overthinking everything. And the truth of the matter is, you just need to find out what's the next small step that God is asking you to do, that you know you need to do, and start there, right? So I think that really hit me so big when I realized, okay, I just have to start. I just have to go in the direction, no matter what it is, whether it's my dreams, my health, my desires, my goals, I have to start walking. Because if I don't start walking on that path, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to find that passion. I'm not going to see that fire. I'm not going to, feel that thing that I want to feel. You just like want God, or you want someone to just place it inside of you when it's already there. And then you'll find every excuse for, oh no, I can't do that right now. Because when God is saying, no, I'm actually calling you to do it right now, even in the midst of you feeling, torn apart or just not yourself or not at your best. And that is so hard. It's so hard to put yourself out there in your passions and do what you want to do when you just don't be feeling yourself. Right? Ciao. Okay? So, encouraging yourself starts with fanning your own flame. That's all right. We have to learn how to toot our own horns. We just have to be careful. Like there's a thin line between prideful and, tooting your own horn. Hey, sis. So I just think that you have to be very intentional about betting on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, say she. Hi, Nicole. You have to be very intentional about taking that step to bet on yourself, even when you're not feeling yourself. And it's not that you're faking it. You know what I'm saying? It's that you're actually believing in something that you may not see or feel, but it's there. Okay? And I love that. And you have to start engaging in productive activities that allow you to release the tension, but they don't distract you from those thoughts that need to be addressed. That's like, okay, that's like the night and day difference right there. Right? Like we can engage in things that make us feel good, but if they're not heading us in the way that we should go, then we're not going to get there. So we have to find things that are going to relieve that tension from whatever it is when we're in that rut of anxiety or depression or whatever it is. And we have to figure out how to engage in a new activity that's going to bring us to revealing the reason why we're in that rut. You know what I mean? Many times we'll engage in activities that actually distract us from getting to the core of it. And that's the difference. It's okay to treat yourself and put your feet up sometime and just shut out the world. And really what you're doing is shutting out those thoughts. You're shutting out that feeling. You're shutting out that rut, whatever it is. But at some point you have to be able to do something that actually takes you to the core of it, whether it be therapy, whether it be journaling, or whether it be getting someone else to help you get there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not here to tell you it's easy. I'm here to tell you it's actually really hard. It's hard. What if I just started breaking down? Child, no. You ain't gonna catch me out here with no tears, not here, honey. But I will say this. It is so difficult, but it is so much more rewarding when you decide to finally bet on yourself. It is so much more rewarding because it actually hurts when you get those thoughts of regret. Like, dang, I should have, I should have, I could, but I'm not. You let that insecurity, and you let those thoughts get in the way, and the regret hurts so much more. What's that principle? What you build you must protect. Suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I have to say it like that in order to remember it, because that's what we did in the step team. What you build you must protect. Suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I really thought that quote was more like fun back in the day just because of the step. But like listening to the words now, I'm like, oh, the pain of discipline, I'll take that. I'm learning as I get older. I would rather say no than suffer the pain of regret and look back and be like, dang, I should have said no to that, or I should have said yes, or I should have done that differently. I mean, many of us are sitting here looking back now, right? Huh? Right? Looking back like I shoulda, woulda, coulda, but that's all right. Thank God for grace. Thank God for new mercies every day, so we don't have to sit in that pain of regret. But God will show you another way, but it's just a little hard. But what I love about it is he gives you people. He gives you people to help. It's just that the other hard part is we don't ask for help. So there's levels to this. It's deciding, okay, I'm acknowledging that I'm in a rut. I've identified why I'm there. Now I have to encourage myself by taking some type of step forward to do an action that is productive to me climbing out. You can climb out. And you know what I've learned? When you start taking like one step, it's like God will take like 5 steps. Now, the enemy and the world around you will seem to take all the steps back. As a simple, reminder, last week when I tried to go live, I'm just like, what's happening? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? But it's like at the end of the day, you have to really trust God. So when you decide to climb that ladder, like you got to push through, because so many obstacles are going to come just because you're trying. I know, Angie. I know, right? I'm sitting back looking too. We always look back like, dang, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And that's fine because you learn from it, but you just can't stay there. You can't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like when you stay there, it is a place that starts to get you deeper and deeper into this, just this rut. It's like a fog. The more you stay in the rut, the harder it is to see where you're going. The fog gets thicker and thicker. Pause. All right? As you go forward and you're looking, but the more you start to climb out, I'm telling you, you take one step, God will take 5, and it will start to become so clear somehow. You know what I'm saying? Child. Okay, so, you need to be able to do something that does not distract you. Some examples that I give of that, journaling. I love to journal, honey. Start writing it down. Get it out. You know what it is? You got to get it out of here. The more you allow, the rut starts in your head. Okay, so the more you allow it to stay here, it's easy. It starts building, it starts creating like its own land. It starts farming. It starts like chilling. You know what I'm saying? It be having R&B nights. Like you gotta get those thoughts out of the residency of your mind. And in order to do that, you have to find a way to productively release it. We find ways to productively release those thoughts. We find a lot of ways to unproductively release those thoughts, but they come back. You're not really releasing them, you're numbing them through distractions. And that comes in many ways. It's not always drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Distractions come in many ways that you could just numb yourself from really getting serious about what's going on in that head of yours, that beautiful little head of yours, And so journaling is a way that just kind of gets it out. Sometimes I started typing, dear God, talking to someone. That has been big, huge. I just saw on someone's story today, like we have to connect to people. And it just seems like in this day and age, we are like getting further and further away from real, genuine connections that can actually help you get out of your rut and walk in your purpose. Just as simple as that. But what we're not doing is we are literally divided. I can't even say, we already know there's a lot of division out there, but we're just getting comfortable keeping it to ourselves. Angie, I'm trying. She said, like the story of the donkey in the pit. They tried to bury it, and with every shovel of dirty, he shook it off and got on top of it until he was on a mountain of dirt and got out the pit. I know that's right. Ooh, I know that's right. And that's what it feels like. The enemy literally wants to just keep you in the hole by yourself and keep piling you on with dirt as heavy as it can get. But I love that how you said he shook it off. And it's so hard. I know. Some of the scariest places are right here inside of our heads, inside of our own heads. And I just think what I really want, the message that I really want to get across this week is simply, so many of us are walking around carrying so much in our heads, and all we have to do is talk to each other. All we have to do is connect. All we have to do is find a way to release the tension. Start with God. That's what I do, right? You start there, but then God also says, okay, now I need you to connect to the people that I've put on this earth and surrounded you with. I need you to connect. Throw your ego aside, throw your pride aside, and scream out for help. We are reading too many stories and too many sad stories of people that just never stop to ask for help. And we're sitting next to each other and we're kikiing with each other, and we have no idea how dark it is in the person's mind next to us. Oh, that we love so much. But we have no idea what people are really going through. And I don't know, that's why I'm just so passionate about this topic, because it really bothers me, to know that there's so many people walking around hopeless and feeling completely isolated and alone in the dark place in their head. And yet it's those three simple things. Stopping to say, all right, I'm in a rut. I'm going to admit it, right? Because it's hard to, like anyone that's dealing with something, it's hard to admit it. Like, child, once I admit it, now I got to what I'm going to do with that? Now I know, now what? Yeah, you got to go to the next step. Identifying why you're there. And that's more of the scarier step. That is the scarier step. And that's where you may need someone. That's where you may need some therapy, some professional help, for real. For real. There's nothing wrong with getting professional help. Okay? You need some prayer. You need a buddy. Just like I said, when you start going to the gym, many times most people succeed longer when they attach themselves to a buddy to go back to the gym. You want to do some work in your mind? Attach yourself to a buddy. It could be someone for a season. It doesn't have to be someone necessarily that you've known forever either. Sometimes God will just bring someone into your life. Sometimes that's even safer. Someone that don't even know nothing about you like that, but then all of a sudden there's just a connection over time, and he brings this person in your life for a season to help you start releasing some of that and getting a new perspective on you. That's what it really is. It's you. The reason why we're stuck in the rut is because of ourselves and the things we continue to believe about ourselves. So we keep doing the same thing over and over again and forget it, not even expecting different results. We're old enough. Forget insanity. I know daggone well what I'm going to get when I do that again. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I forget this different result. It's just that I'm stuck in a cycle. And I know that I have to make a different decision if I want to get out that cycle. I have to do something different. And like I said, if you're anything like me, it doesn't have to be this big grand gesture. You don't have to change. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I would like to change my life overnight. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, child, I'm so discerned. We have to give ourselves so much more grace. We beat ourselves up and we don't give ourselves space, grace, and time to just grow. We don't give it. We put deadlines on ourselves, knowing daggone well, right? So acknowledging you're there, identifying why you're there, and then encouraging yourself by simply engaging in a new habit. What is going to be your new habit? What is going to be something that you can start doing that is productive, that will allow you to start getting out of the rut? Something small. Yes, breaking the negative cycles. So it's all in here. It's all in here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got me hyped tonight. Get my little fan. Yeah, man, it's just, it's hard out here in these streets. And let me be clear, like, my message every week is not actually going to be like some deep message. It's just whatever's on my heart. Whatever's on my heart that I love to talk about, conversations that I've had with many people over the years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just hoping that one person will receive something, from this and be encouraged to take that small step. As something as small as journaling, writing it down, getting it out of your head, talking to someone, and releasing that tension, releasing those thoughts that are causing you to stay in an isolated rut. Now, let me tell you what's scarier, though, than an isolated rut. What's scarier than an isolated rut is a rut with other people that are also comfortable in their ruts. The word rut, I'm getting over it. You know what I'm saying? They say misery loves company, and that's cool. It's nothing better than connecting to people that you can relate to. But if you look around and time has passed and y'all are still in the same ruts, be careful. Be careful. And it's nothing wrong with someone, with the other person or other people. It's just that maybe you're trying to make a decision to do something different, but it's hard because of who you're connected to. It's hard. It's so much harder getting out of a rut when you got people that are comfortable right where they are. They're not ready to acknowledge, identify, and encourage. They're not ready for that journey. Like I said, it takes work. Not everybody wants to go there, especially depending on circumstances, right? Boy, child. So it's like, it's just as horrible to be by yourself going through something, but it's sometimes even scarier to be with a bunch of people or a group of people or a person that's just like you. Just like you. And it's hard to break away. And many times, if you start trying to make a change, it could make somebody else uncomfortable if they're not ready. And then you'd be like, okay, I'll get back in my rut for the sake of us, right? Ugh. Yes. Y'all better minister up in this chat. Facebook and Instagram. So watch what you're doing as you take that. Seishi, I'm on my own neck. I feel you. I love our conversations. And, I'm done here. I'm already at 41 minutes. I really didn't want to go past 30, so here we are. Well, technically, that first 15 was just, waiting till Persha went to the store. That's right, y'all. Persha's out here driving. Because I ain't got time. I taught her last week how to get behind that wheel, honey. I got her 2 booster seats. She's good. Shoot. But thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm good. This video is going to be chopped up. Y'all know I'm going to put some of the clips out there. I'm going to delete the lives off of Facebook and Instagram. I only kept the live up last week just because it was my first one in a long time. And I'm going to post the full video on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go over there and subscribe. But I encourage you guys, like, look, we're in this together. Okay? We are in this together, guys. It's hard out here in these streets. And then forget the Christian streets. Y'all know I always like to say that. It is so much harder in the Christian streets, and yet we have a God that helps us through that. So I wouldn't want to be in the regular streets. Keep me in the Christian streets. It's hard. It's already hard. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say this. Even though it's like a tough pill to swallow, when you swallow that pill, eventually you start to see the effects of it, and the effects are so much more rewarding. It's like having a bad headache, and you finally get that Motrin or that Tylenol, and slowly, it doesn't happen right away. Slowly, you start to feel the release of the tension. So I encourage you guys to swallow the hard pills that you need to. Because you know what? Time is ticking, and that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, you know what? There's so many habits I've attained, so many bad, unproductive habits I've attained over so many years, and just kind of thinking I had time. And now that I'm 53, I'm just like, oh nah. I don't know if it's because I had a kid. And when you have a kid, it's like the time just starts speeding up. And I'm just like, and I'm like, I'm someone's direct role model. And she's young now, but she's starting to side eye me. She's starting to catch on quickly. She'd be like, Mommy, you good? Like with a child, I have to constantly balance my emotions. And I think as I've started to tap into that side, it's showed me other things about myself that I'm just like, okay, enough is enough. And you've got to be to that place before. Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. I feel like you're the first person that sent me stars. Mwah. You have got to be able to say enough is enough. If you ain't there, if you ain't at enough, then you're not ready. Because once you start taking that productive step in the right direction, if you're not really, really, really ready, you're going to wind up right back in that rut, nice and comfortable. Because let me tell y'all, it is comfortable there. It's nice. It's nice in the rut. But it does weigh very heavy, and it starts to look differently as you get older. So I encourage you guys, as you get older, get out that rut, because it doesn't look good as you get older. And you know what I'm saying? And time is ticking. God is calling us. He's just like, get out there. There are too many gifts that you guys have, and you have no idea the effect and the people that are waiting to just receive your gift. You have no idea the power that you have inside of you, and the enemy is doing everything he can to keep you in that rut. Everything. He just wants you to just stay there. To be the same person that you've always been. And you've got to be careful with saying that. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. You know how we say, well, this is just who I am? No, that's fine. That might be who you are right now, but God is really in the business of progression. So you don't want to just be like, well, that's just who I am. Now there is a level of acceptance that you want to accept the gifts that you have. Like I know I definitely, I'll be honest, I struggle with my own personality. I do. Cause sometimes it's like it's on 10, even when I'm not feeling on 10, it just comes out and I don't be feeling like it. And then sometimes I struggle that it's too much and I gotta, I feel like I have to change it based on the setting of the person. But sometimes you just have to accept who God has made you. But in the area of growth, be open that you can look like a very different person in just a month. In just a week, you can look like a very different person simply by thinking differently and getting out of the rut. And it's just those three things: acknowledging that you're there, identifying what brought you there, and encouraging yourself, even with your crooked glasses. She said, stop reading my mail, girl. I know. I'm all up in my Amazon packages. We got the same mail, sis. Ciao. All right, I'm done, y'all. That was fun. I can't wait. Thank y'all so much for just hanging out. Like, for real, you have no idea. This full video will be posted. I will be posting the clips of some of the highlights from today, but y'all give me so much, like, you bring me joy. Y'all make me so hype, and I talk too much, so I could stay on here forever. probably because I'm not talking enough to other people. So I encourage you all, if you haven't been connecting enough, and when I say connecting, I mean making a genuine connection with someone that when you're done, you feel refreshed. Whatever habits that you're looking to create so that you can get out the rut, whatever that next step is, it should allow you to feel refreshed at the end of it. Okay, you should feel refreshed at the end of a conversation with someone because they deposited something. And sometimes it don't gotta be no whole word. It doesn't have to be something specific. Sometimes just interacting with people, there is an exchange. If you're interacting with the right people, you will feel refreshed. Now, if you're interacting with the wrong people, most likely over time, you will feel drained. You will. So and that goes for habits, not just people. Whatever you're doing that you think is going in the right direction, you should feel refreshed, even though it's hard. Like when I took that 3-mile walk, even though every muscle in my body is hurting right now, I feel so refreshed after. But miss me in the middle of that walk, child, you would have thought I was walking up that hill and Daniel's just talking normally. He's like, yeah, and I just basically in the window. And I'm like, yeah, and I feel like, like, child, the struggle. I thought I was literally just going to sit on the side of the sidewalk. I was trying so hard. Even though that's my husband, I still was just like, I didn't want to embarrass myself. But child, Daniel, no, I would have sat right there. But something was just like, girl, keep going. Right? So, but when I got back, I felt refreshed. Can't even breathe. Right? Child. So I encourage you guys to choose something this week that's going to take you in a small step in a direction to get out of your head, to bet on yourself, to believe in who God has called you to be, to believe in the gifts that you actually have, that you don't have to wait for yourself to look a certain type of way, to be a certain type of way, to have a certain level of education. Just take the next small step in the right direction, and I can guarantee you, you will start to feel refreshed and you will start to feel different outside of your rut, that even on those days when you're just over it, you wake up over it for real. Like you'll be able to push more because it's different when you're already in this habit versus when you wake up over it and you're in the rut. You just stay in the over it covers. All right. I'm done. No stop because I'll just keep going. All right. Let me put back on my Falia. I was playing Falia and Husta Rhymes. I have to find fake music so I don't get kicked off of live. So I find other people that are singing some of my favorite songs. But I love y'all. Have a good Tuesday. Be encouraged. Don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe. And keep going. Amen. Yes, Angie. Yes, Jana. Thank y'all. All right. Even though I'm about to say bye, I'm still going to be on here because it takes me some time to end. Instagram is like my, what do you call it? Y'all are like my background. Y'all get to see what's going on behind the stage. But it takes me some time to end. So, but that's all I got for today. So y'all, that's it. Y'all can watch me struggle if you want. I don't care. Woo! I know. Angie, I can stay here forever, so don't do that. Don't do that. I got messages. Daniel's going to be coming on live with me probably on the next one next week. So I'm super excited about that. Wait until y'all see what we got planned. Woo! He might be. Maybe the one after. I think it's going to be me next week. I got a whole schedule. I know, like, who do I think I am, right? Exactly. It's who I believe who I am. And that is very hard for me to say. Trust me, you that. Trust me, you that. Trust you, me that. Or however they say that. All right, Angie, hang out. Hang out, girl, because it's hot out here in these streets. All right. So let me close this. Let me see if I could put my Falia back on. Thank y'all. It's going to be a lot of dead silence. Unmute site. Y'all hear that? Beyonce? All right, guys. I love y'all. Thanks so much. Hang in there. Hang in there, y'all. Bye, guys.